So I was doing a quick building check and happened to notice there was this bit of mold sticking out on the side, and I was like, that's weird. I don't know if you can see. It just kind of runs back this way to the bulk of the mold. I didn't know exactly what the problem was, but I knew it wasn't good. This is not a big leak. Otherwise I would have a soaking wet wall, but it also helps that the heat's on, so it dries things out a little bit better. See, it had insulation on it, and it was all water inside of it, so I ripped it all off, trying to find if there was a bad press. So I left it for a day or two. I finally had a chance to come back to it. I have a whole bunch of, I'm gonna have to come through here and just disconnect all this plumbing, or at least a good chunk of this, so I can cut this really junky drywall out. I'm gonna turn the water off, and then we'll bleed off the water pressure, at least some of it, and then we'll kill that. Just get this insulation out the way. All it's doing is hiding issues. Oh, jeez. Yep. You break that loose without breaking your face loose. Now we can hopefully just remove this board. Actually, I want to do it on this side first. Cool. That's done. Awesome. We should remove all this just to make sure that there aren't any other leaking spots. I know the point of the insulation here is to help reduce condensation in the summertime, but the problem with it is it hides leaks for a lot longer, and but we'll give that some time to dry out, make sure we don't have any other leaks. I have seen how magical the ProPress is, but when you have to fix a ProPress problem without ProPress, it's the worst thing on the planet, because you literally have to rebuild the entire thing. You scrap everything that's involved and you rebuild it from both ends. And I'm afraid that might be what I have to do here. So we're going to take this apart and see. Oh, that was easy. You probably didn't even see that the way I had it angled. But take this piece right out. There's a check valve in here. Oops. Well, maybe we can catch some of that. Really? It's alright. We're going to take the drywall out so everything can dry out for a day or two before we even start putting wall back in. Alright, so now that that's pretty much done leaking, we can take this apart. Ooh. I was going to try the oscillating saw, but I'm going to try, yeah, that should work. There we go. Jeez. All right, now that that's out of the way, we are going to cut out as much of this wall as we can reach, at least from here, And then we will probably cut out some extra stuff from the other side when we get that wall opened up. That's just a single layer of drywall here. It's not a double, which is a little bit different than what I'm used to. Because everywhere else has been double layered, and this is the only wall so far that has been single layered. Mold and mildew is not that far up into really any of the 2x4s, which is cool. So it shouldn't be too much. I shouldn't have to go too high on that wall. And I'm gonna leave this open to dry out for probably 2 days before I even bother putting any drywall back. This heater right here, we'll crank this right up to 6 just to really get that warm. And now let's head inside to try and fix that side. I'm gonna start fairly small with how much material I take out, and then based on how much rot or how much mold is in the wall, I'll expand from there. So okay, well, that's all peeled off. There we go. Okay, so we still have mold. Okay, that's as far as the mold goes. But as far as rotted out, I'm probably gonna bring it over to here. Actually, I might just bring it right to this stud. Ah, okay, cool. And then we only have to come over to here. So it's not that wide of a section, but in there, I don't know how nasty it is back there. Now that that's all torn out, we can see there is a bit of water damage a little bit further on this one, so we may need to go over a little bit more. But for now, we got it opened up and let that start drying out so we can at least put a patch in before we have people in this building in a week and a half. I also need to get the water fixed, but that'll be in part 2. This is not as bad as the last water leak, but it's still more than I actually want to deal with. Shouldn't have any water leaks. I think this was built in 2017. We've had 3 water issues. The first one was from the upstairs kitchen, or upstairs bathroom, I mean. And it was leaking down into the kitchenette. Oh no, it's hidden pretty well. But you can kind of see, here's a seam here. You can't really see the seam here, which is really nice. But there was a big section right out of the kitchen here that was all down. So I think that might be yeah, that's a repair seam. Not sure why it's cracked, but that was from a shower drain that was installed poorly. There was a lot of grime and grit in where it should have been sealed, and then this wall I had from all the way over here to pretty much all the way over there was all soaking wet, rotted. It didn't come up that high. You can see the patch here, but I kind of tried to blend some of the wall in, and then all the carpet was soaked, so that had to be replaced, which the carpet was the easiest part of this. I didn't do much of the patchwork, but I did the painting, and this was like 2 years ago, so this is before I started the YouTube channel. We're gonna throw the heat up to, let's just say 72 for the night, just to get it nice and warm in here. To help this dry out, we'll throw the fan on. Come back tomorrow and see how dry this is. Hit it with some bleach just to try and kill it. We might spray it with some Kills or some other mold and mildew preventative spray. So it is the next day, and at least this back room looks pretty dry. We're gonna hit the mold with a bit of bleach and water solution. Now that we have the spray gun working, I can flip over to this side, and we will and we're gonna throw the fan back on just so this dries out quicker. We'll come back in a couple hours. We'll hit it with some Kills, and it's not Kills, it's Bin. We'll hit it with that, and just to help prevent if there's any mold that's still alive from spreading. 75 and 7/8. Yeah, 75 and 7/8. All right. Height-wise, we want it to be just under 12 inches. Go 12 inches, we can shave it and make it fit. So we're gonna hit these spots, the mold spots, with some Bin primer, just to keep the mold down. We'll get the fan on this and come back in 15, 20 minutes to hit it with a second coat. In the meantime, let's go cut the drywall. Definitely snug right here. That's good. Snug here. get it. So before we throw this in there and then just start guessing, let's mark. Here, here, here. That's there. And the don't take drywall tips from me. This is not tips. Well, I'll give it another skim coat here in a little bit. I think 2, maybe 3 coats, and we'll be looking all right. All right, let's give this a second skim coat real quick. I'm not gonna bother sanding, but I will probably give it a sand next week. So it's had plenty of time to dry. We're gonna give it a quick sand and then a light skim coat to try and finish it off before we paint it. I don't have the paint, so painting will be off camera. This video is gonna be long enough as it is. It's looking pretty good. Kind of running into some bumpiness on that end where the outlets are, but I'll be able to sand that out and make it look almost invisible. The nice thing is most people aren't looking at the walls or the bottom of the wall at any imperfections. It just really stands out to me because I did it and I know it's there. But I'm getting better at batching, a lot better than I used to be. Still got a long ways to go. If you get any helpful tips, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.